And I'm Lisa.
And this is the Paid Media Playbook, where we talk to marketing professionals about their challenges, tactics, and triumphs.
Join us here at Double Z Media for weekly conversations about media strategies for marketing leaders. Laura, we just finished a 2-day conference, DigiMarCon Pacific Northwest, and I wanted to talk to you about it a little bit. There was no time during the conference to actually talk about the conference.
I know. It was one thing to the other, speaker after speaker. I had a lot of fun at that conference. This really was like top level, really gave you some morsels to walk away with and give you things to think about, and talked a lot about what to expect in the future and how to navigate AI, how to navigate SEO nowadays and what it means. And I was impressed and I had fun. I met a ton of really interesting people.
Absolutely. I feel like the previous conventions I've been to felt like everyone was trying to sell me something.
That might be it. Yeah.
There would be a whole talk about, oh, you're having this challenge? Buy my software. It'll solve it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that these guys didn't have that. They gave us a ton of value in the sales pitch, if that's what that was, which I'm okay with. So anyway, who was your favorite speaker?
Oh, good question. I actually really loved the cybersecurity talk. The name of this talk was Turn Digital Reputation Threats into Offense Tactics.
That's right.
And I was like, what does that even mean? I don't care about any of this. But it ended up being a lot more about, cybersecurity and also like brand management on online spaces. There was a lot of conversation around you can't control what people say about you, especially when you can't see what people are saying about you.
Yes, exactly. Like Google only shows you 4% of what people are saying about you out there.
Because so much content on the internet is behind paywalls or in direct messages where that's just not, public. So I found that very interesting, but I also think that presentation was the one that hit the golden balance for me between the speaker had good energy, the presentation, actual slides themselves were well presented, informative, but also looked good. And, it was casual, but it taught me a lot, but still felt polished. It really hit the balance of all of those things.
That's right. Yeah. And he came with great stats too. Mm-hmm. 74% of Gen Z uses TikTok for search. And that was in the 2024 Adobe survey with eMarketer. So, he was citing his sources. He was giving us good feedback. No wonder 4% Google only, can give you the content that impacts your reputation at 4%. Because 74% is TikTok with Gen Z.
I felt like some of the speakers were way up here, very intense and a little bit too much. Some of the speakers were way down here, either not entirely comfortable public speaking or just, I don't know, had an off day. I have no idea. All of the presentations were good, but then the balance between that and some of the PowerPoints were absolutely gorgeous, but half of the slides were mysteriously just palm trees. So I'm not sure why they were there.
I'm okay with that. I'd rather have that than read through somebody read me through a PowerPoint. Yeah.
But as an example of the most form of a PowerPoint over the most information, I would say were the two. Because there was one presentation where the PowerPoint was almost entirely text, but he was a good speaker and what he was talking about was very interesting and very useful to us. I think that's the one that you and I took the most notes during. So it was just a fascinating spectrum of all these different skill sets that people were displaying beyond just digital marketing skill sets.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's we do paid media, right? And, it affects us. But so much of this affects our clients too. Mm-hmm. And to help have insights into what they're struggling with. We're all struggling with the same thing, learning about clarity and getting really well-versed in it from someone who, was like in charge of Clarity at Microsoft. That was like a huge benefit. Why doesn't every client have that on there?
Yeah.
Behavioral analytics.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. So yeah, that was nice. I mean, there's so many things. Dennis Yu was my favorite. It's his energy, his stories, his like no BS way of like talking about things. Like, everyone thinks they have to like shit out content, like so much content all the time. And God, customers are sick of it. And I need to put out new stuff. No, find your best stuff and, serve the crap out of it to people, and you'll stay just as relevant because that's your highlights. I took away a lot from that, and he offered a free class after that, which was cool too. He had stories about influencers and people he works with, which was famous people, and that was fun too. It's always fun, but he wasn't like braggy, which I liked.
I loved hearing not just the speakers, though, also the other attendees. There were some opportunities we had to just talk to everyone else there, and just hearing everyone's personal experiences in the space was both like really valuable, because I know my experience, but is that a me problem? Is that a genuine issue with the industry? Is it, so being able to sort of calibrate in that way was so important.
No, you're right. I think, having had a long career so far, I feel like we had talked about this, but how everybody has a specialty now, right? A niche that they're focusing on. And, ours is paid media, when before it was just like, we want a full service ad agency, but like nobody can do everything well. So people, and everything is so granular and measurable now that we need to have specialists. And so that was really interesting to talk about how you thought creative was fractured before. Like now it is just, and we all know it. We all work in that industry. And it's like, if you have one person working on your traditional media and another person working on your digital media and another person working on your social media, and then a PR person over here, and just for starters, and nobody is really having regular meetings or some sort of a shared drive or something, then nobody knows I ran this promotion over here, well, no one's talking about it over here. The marketing director may have communicated it, but maybe they didn't get all the assets. I mean, it's just so fragmented. It's so much more important to keep track of continuity across your brand.
And to that point, because there is so much granularity, it was really nice hearing about marketing from a much broader, holistic perspective.
Yeah.
Because I get really, really into my cost per click, which is important for me, but it really is just one piece of a bigger story. And I feel like I'm in a better position now to sort of address that for clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And come from a place of, being able to apply what we know to those problems. I loved, and another thing I loved was AI, because of course AI was in every single talk in one way, shape, or form. But I liked the one person who was talking about AI fatigue and how at the end of the day, it is the relationships that matter.
Yeah.
And, there's only the relationships. That was the what not to do kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when a bot responds to customer service badly, which we all know.
I went through that even just today, actually. I was doing an instant message customer support for one of our ad platforms. And apparently I needed to like answer with a very specific one-word answer with no like punctuation or anything for it to read what I was saying correctly. So it was just me typing in like, no, over and over again, trying to get the robot to understand what I was telling it. And that's an example of, bad chat support.
What not to do. Yeah.
But just, I think people are also, because everyone has had a bad experience, even if there is a neutral one, they approach it from a place of like, what's this going to be like now? We've all had these experiences as consumers. And so I really appreciated the speakers who were like, your consumers have also had those experiences. Like, remember them. Remember that they are people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be relatable. It has to be, because they're human. So you have to relate to them.
Thanks for listening to the Paid Media Playbook. Want more content like this? Follow our agency, Double Z Media, on LinkedIn. You can find the link in the episode description.